doing well today, but I know you're not, because if you're watching this right now, then one of these things has probably happened. We've become a society that puts kids into arenas, and our hope lies on a 16-year-old girl. Or Voldemort has finally arrived. Probably shouldn't have said his name, but it's too late anyway, so who cares? Or monkeys have finally outsmarted us. Or a nuclear war has happened. Or, my personal favorite, zombies have actually come true and are running rampant throughout the world. But nevertheless, the world is ending most likely because of the ostrich crisis in Japan. As the United States of America, we've had good and bad times. From the beginning of our nation, we've had conflict. We fought Britain to win our independence, which ended good. We went through a depression, the Great Depression, that everybody happens to know about. We've been through many wars, probably too many for the amount of time our country has been a nation. We've been through the World Wars, the American Revolution, Vietnam War, Cold War, Mexican-American War, Korean War, Civil War, and the Afghanistan and Iraq wars. We've pretty much had a conflict with everyone around the world. But overall, the main conflict of our nation has been domestically from the beginning is the problem of civil rights for all groups. However, there are still worse times in American history. We as a country decided that all of our joy comes from high school proms, Nicholas Sparks books, sweating guys, Starbucks coffee, and most importantly, Channing Tatum and Beyonce. Although we've had bad times, we've also had some pretty good times. We've made it to the moon, and the first guy ever to walk on it made sure to practice his first words countless times just so they could be remembered forever.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful for you.
MLK fought for civil rights and helped to begin racial equality. We had many important documents such as the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. We also made many good decisions as a country. We had basketball players pull down their shorts a little. We invented tissue paper, Zumba, indoor plumbing, and last but not least, selfie sticks. We had many good and bad moments in American history, but here are some of the most memorable moments in our time.
The Revolutionary War lasted 8 years, 4 months, and 15 days. The U.S. gained independence, which was thrilling, but lost many lives in the process. The war resulted in the British recognition of the independence of the United States of America possessed. The Great Depression in the late 1930s was the longest, deepest depression of the 20th century. There were no positive effects and, unfortunately, many negatives. Families that relied on heavy industry were especially impacted as crop prices decreased up to 60%. If you thought the Revolutionary War was long, the Vietnam War was over twice as long, lasting over 19 years. Throughout the war, the U.S. prepared a strategic bombing campaign against North Vietnam. Over time, the North Vietnamese airspace transformed into the most heavily defended in the world. The Declaration of Independence was adopted by Congress on the 4th of July in 1776. The 13 colonies were now independent and no longer a part of the British Empire. They were now a nation of their own. Declaration of Independence is the usual name of a statement adopted by the Continental Congress on July 4th of 1776, which announced that the 13 American colonies, then at war with Great Britain, regarded themselves as 13 newly developed, independent, sovereign states and no longer a part of the British Empire. Instead, they formed a new nation. World War II, lasting 6 years, was the most widespread war in history, involving over 100 million people from over 30 countries. The Holocaust was also a massive part of World War II, killing over 11 million Americans and 6 million Jews. Nevertheless, the USA was a great country to live in. Our favorite blooper in history was that our wonderful President Taft got stuck in the bathtub. The history of the US will never be forgotten since no one will be alive to forget it. May the odds be ever in your favor.